Okay, we are back. It is
We're back.
question and answer time with BSR. Da-da, da-da.
I have the hiccups, so forgive me.
Yes, so we'll add those into each and every question.
Yeah, for free.
One hiccup for yes, two hiccups for no. If you guys have got some questions tonight, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, we'll be answering questions that are posted on the YouTube channel. You can find that link. It's show 2 on the description above the Facebook Live video. Go there, click on that, and you can come on out to the YouTube. If you're watching this after Tuesday night, well, those questions then will get moved over to one of the following weeks because that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
And we have got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions tonight, and we're going to probably try to get through those tonight because tonight I've got a 6-year-old who is now 6 today. And
right.
Typically, when our little guy has had his birthday, we're camping during that time. So this is the first time in like probably 3 or 4 years, his whole life as far as he's concerned, that he's not camping on his birthday. So
right. So you got hamburgers today.
We went up to the local bar there and had hamburgers, and it took forever.
For those of you who don't live in the Midwest, bar burgers, it's a thing. You go to the bar with the kids and you have hamburgers or food or whatever. It's a thing in the Midwest.
Yeah, because beyond that, there was one supper club that closed down, but again, it was basically a bar with a little dining area to the side. But in our small town, there's nothing open after 2:00 in the afternoon. All the little cafes or restaurants that don't serve alcohol are shut down. So bar burgers are what you do. And goodness gracious, 8 of us ate. We each had our cheeseburger and a couple of huge plates of fries and beverages, and it was like $40.
Sweet.
So, I'm not going to complain.
Right. I'll go there.
Okay. Fine. Let's see. Jimmy, we'll put that, I'm going to move that over, Jimmy, into the questions there. And if you guys, again, have had any other questions, put them in the chat on the side and we'll get those. Let's see. I want to go and let's do one that is a really a burning question for a lot of us. Why do EDM DJs keep touching their knobs?
Wow. It reminds me of something that happened to me today in my bedroom.
I just threw that one right out there. That's another story.
Good. Well, as many of you know, they're not doing anything. So they have to look like they're doing something. The arbitrarily twisting knobs joke from the henchman in the Austin Powers movie Goldmember. I believe Michael Caine pointed that out. It was like a henchman that was going to die. He's over there arbitrarily twisting knobs. And no, Dr. Evil asked him to leave the room. You guy over there arbitrarily twisting knobs. Yep. What a lot of these guys are doing. Sometimes they're tweaking effects, but I think most of the time they're just acting like they're doing something. It's not that hard to play a pre-recorded song. It's not that hard to mix a pre-recorded song. It doesn't take a lot of stuff, a lot of knob twisting to do, I don't believe.
Christian from Pioneer? Is that
what about Christian?
When I was watching him, he was mixing from track to track to track to track. Mm-hmm. And he was probably mixing during the sequence that I was watching, I would say every 64 beats max.
He's an animal.
He was going back and forth, and he was one of the few DJs that I haven't been watching over the shoulder to the level I was watching Christian, but he was mixing, and there was literally something happening when he was touching the knob. Maybe there was a volume adjustment, and I could see.
Well, he's hitting an effect, or he's hitting the EQ.
Yes,
that's one thing.
Taking the mids out, or he's bringing something in, or
Yeah. And the EQs on the Pioneer stuff, like it's a complete kill.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you an example, just for fun. Okay, I just killed the treble. See, the highs are gone, the lows are gone, something's gone.
Yeah.
Now they're back. See. So it's complete kill on the EQs on this stuff. So yeah, he is doing something, and there are effects. And Christian's Pulse, DJ Pulse. He's not just a DJ. He's not just a DJ who plays on a Pioneer piece of gear. He's also very instrumental in designing how these things work and creating the firmwares for them.
Yeah.
So he's a unique animal that way. He understands these things better than the average bear.
Yeah, you could see he knew what he was doing, and he had a specific game plan of how he was going to mix these back and forth. And it was a great educational thing. The only thing I wished I could have done was to, after it was all done, and to have him talk you through it. I was thinking about that afterwards. It's like, God, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I got effects on this mixer. You can do weird stuff. If I put this on the main, I don't know if it's on master, I don't know if it's doing anything. I can do all kinds of weird stuff with this. I don't know if you hear anything different. Probably not.
No.
That's
Probably,
weird.
yeah, because
Never
it's
mind.
coming through
I lied.
USB.
I completely lied to you. It's doing nothing. Usually I can get it to do stuff. It's not doing anything. That's really weird. Oh well.
There you go. There you go. You just did a jet.
Disc Jockey News live with John Young and BSR. Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. There's the jet. We can do this. We can all kinds of weird stuff you can do with these Pioneer mixers. So.
Yeah. And again, he knew what he was doing. He used that tool to do what he needed to do. Okay, next question. When clients in last minute changes, when do you stop allowing clients to make changes for their event with music and different things?
Can you? I mean, those are the curveballs that I expect. I do my best to structure it for them. I do my best to confirm, but they happen, and they happen all the time. There's not a lot you can really do to deter that, I don't think. It's just part of the deal. It's what I've found.
I agree. I think it's one of those things you got to go in expecting there's going to be changes. And I even talk about, that with some songs, it's like, if you need to, we can change a song that day as long as it's something that's common enough that, it would be out there. If it's something really eclectic, I can't guarantee it. But if you have a song, I mean, I've had that. I had that once when we were doing a father-daughter dance, and they came out on the floor, and Dad was like, we just heard this song a little bit ago. And as I'm introducing it, and he came over and he's like, we just heard this song a little bit ago. Do you have that one? It's like, and the song I'll be using, ladies and gentlemen, is da 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 da.
Right.
And it worked. It back in the CD days, it wouldn't have worked like that, but it worked, and no one knew that there was any change being made. So, yeah.
I think what I have a hard time with is when they start changing the order of the wedding party, because, and this is just a new thing. I'll put it on a Word document. I'll make everything big and bold so I can read it.
Yeah. Exactly
how it needs to be read. I'll phonetically spell things, and then they'll change it. And I can't write anymore, John.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I lost my right hand in that stroke. So I literally have to grab somebody and say, hey, you need to write this down for me. And you need to write it down so I can understand it. So don't scratch it. Take your time and print it big so I can see this, because it's kind of dark when I'm, reading this stuff up. But it happens. It's part of it. It's just really become part of what we do.
Yeah.
And the way you handle that and how well you handle that, I think, says a lot about you as an entertainer, and at least as a host. If you can take these curveballs, you're strong. If you can take them and nobody knows that you had them in the first place, that's the key. I think. Don't make it look like anything changed. Make it look very normal.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you strong, and that's what makes you valuable.
For sure. There's where you bring that value to the table, and that's something I wouldn't be afraid to talk about when you're meeting and people. And I've had the people ask, well, why are you so much more than other DJs? It's like, well, you do realize weddings are not always smooth. Things will happen. But one of the common things you will hear from people that are at the weddings that I'm performing at is that, wow, that was so smooth. Everything went off just like it was supposed to. No, this happened, this happened, this happened, and this happened. But
I handled it. And that's why you paid me what you pay me. That's what I do.
Exactly. Works wonderfully. Okay. We're going to talk money this one. I know this is one of your favorite topics.
I love talking about it.
How would you fund your first DJ system? How would you finance it, or how would you get the money to buy it?
Well, I was lucky because I was already established as a DJ when I built my first system. I've been doing it for about 10 years. And my mother was kind enough to co-sign for a $2,000 credit card for me to do this. Because she wanted me to do it. I mean, she really believed, she thought I should. She was the one who kind of said, you should do this. I'm like, I don't want to do this, Mom. Yeah, you should do it. Here's and Mom's tight. I mean, Mom tight what that way. She just doesn't throw money around. I believe in you. Here you go. But what I can say is that if you really think you can do this, and you've got the knowledge to run a business, one thing that you can do, and I actually did this as well. If you have a client base, if you have people who want to work with you and all that kind of stuff, I actually paid off my equipment before I did my first gig with security deposits. I paid for everything before my first gig because of booking that much stuff. But yeah, I mean, have a business plan, understand how long it's going to take you to pay this stuff off, understand what you're going to have to bring in every month to pay this bill down. And you need to pay toward the principal, not just interest.
Yeah.
Because that happens to people. Understand what your priority list is. Get the important stuff first. Don't buy the cheap stuff. Get the important stuff. Understand what's important. Understand what you can compromise on. Understand you don't need 20 lights to do your first gig typically.
Yep.
You don't. You need a couple lights. You need some wash. You need something to do something interesting. Otherwise, that's projection, and you're fine. Unless you want to do up lighting, because be smart about it. I don't know that credit card's how I did it, and I had it all paid off real fast.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is if
things are more reasonable today than they were then.
For sure.
It's easier to do now than it was then.
Brent mentioned that he worked for another DJ company and used the funds to build from that job to build his own. I think that's a fabulous. Jimmy mentioned rent to own.
Yeah,
that's another great idea to start out. And yeah, you're not making as much per event when you're renting the gear, but you're also not going into debt, and you're also not putting it on a credit card where you know, back when you and I first started getting credit cards, 20% interest was not uncommon.
18 was usually what I was looking at.
Yeah, 18 to 20 was really common. So if we put something on a credit card, we wanted that sucker paid off in a billing cycle, so we didn't get dinged with that because that was.
I think I did mine in 3 months. I did it in 3, which was unheard of, you know. But I was disciplined. I really wanted to prove something that I could do this, you know, and it really worked nice, you know. And I think the conversation is kind of changing gears a little bit, and people are talking about, well, you know, be a helper first and all that. Well, yeah, I this is an investment. This is not this is not a sure thing. There's risk in everything. Have a clue before you do this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you want to do, know what you're doing first. Of course, work for someone else. Of course, be an assistant. I had 10 years under my belt before I bought my first set of equipment. So my karate was pretty strong. I mean, going out there, I already knew what I was doing. I don't know. I think today it's so easy for a lot of people to get equipment. It's not hard to go out and do that piece by piece, or put something together, or buy used or whatever. But a lot of people, you know, are you know, they're buying this stuff before they even know what they're doing with it. And you get a lot of that.
I think you do. Marcus had a question. What's the most important thing to spend money on first if you were going to buy? He mentioned speakers, and I'm going to say I don't know if I'd put that as the number one thing, because you can rent fairly reasonably if you pick up and drop off. Most audio shops, if you have one close, will rent, you know, for $50 you can get a pair of speakers sometimes. So it's not a huge investment, because if you're going to buy speakers, and you want something that's going to be able to do you well, you're going to want to get some good quality speakers.
Yeah.
I think I'd really I would almost put towards the top, obviously your computer that you need, and I would almost have a microphone up there pretty close to the top.
But you can do a mic so inexpensive though.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you can buy an SM58 short on $100.
$100, yep. But I would go that route instead of going and getting a $40 or $30 microphone. I would invest in that microphone. Make sure you have a good quality mic.
If you question the quality of the Shure SM58, I mean, I see people use it to this day. This is kind of the microphone that's like the Technics 1200 microphones.
Yeah.
It's just an easy vocal mic, and it's solid. I mean, if you ever watch a Chris Rock comedy show, he's using an SM58.
Yeah.
He has the mic drop with the SM58. It's probably fine. He probably didn't pop the capsule because the thing's bulletproof.
Yeah, exactly. Just we took the dent out of the screen, and off we go again.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody was asking if you have a noise gate on with your board. I don't think your board has a noise gate, does it? No, yours wouldn't. Mine has a noise gate. I've got a Personas board here that does have that. Debt kills, Marcus. Yep, you are very right there. Fly Robin, laptop first in practice. Jimmy, the SM48, I've seen the different ones, and I'd go back to my personal is the 87 I would go to. But the 58, I think when you drop down below, you get into the 48s and such, sure made those to compete.
I've seen the betas, and there's knockoffs. But I mean, really, if you wanted to buy something, I was just saying, you know, buy a great mic. Great. You can buy a great mic, but you're going to spend $100 on a Shure SM58.
Yep.
And that's a great mic and you're done.
And you're done. And you put that extra money, you put it in a coffee can until you have enough money to go buy that set of speakers that's going to take you 5 years.
Back in the old days, I mean, I was still kind of slowly collecting things. I would pop into the used store and just take a look and see what's going on. And today it's so easy because all you have to do is go on the internet and you can compare prices to see if something is a deal.
Well, and
you
just
put little things together if you want to.
Mentioning that, I mean, I went to a local garage sale, and a Shure 87A. It's a beta.
Wow.
And I picked it up for $75. It was never used. You know, you can find weird things sometimes.
Yeah, you never know.
Let's see. Next one. How do you keep drinks off your speakers?
Get them up in the air. What are your speakers doing on the ground?
I think they were referring to subs. You know, when we've got that.
My subs are under the table.
Oh, you've got them hidden there. Nicely.
I think that the biggest mistakes that DJs are making today is they're doing this whole top cap above sub approach with the pole. And I know that everyone sells a system like this, but the truth is you're robbing yourself not only of volume, but of target when you do that. If you look at a diagram on how sound travels, if you separate subwoofers like that, yeah, and I know people say, well, bass is omnidirectional. Kind of. Go out on your dance floor and walk around. See where you're feeling that bass. I guarantee right in the center of the dance floor, you're not feeling it. On the other hand, if you take those same two subwoofers, and if they're small enough, put them under your table and couple them, which simply means put them together, you get a 3 dB gain right there. And if you know anything about 3 dB gain, you have to go 3 dB to realize an increased volume. It's like twice, every 3 beat is like twice as loud. So you get more boom if you put them together, and that center of your dance floor has a better coverage with bass.
For sure. That's a little hidden secret.
A long answer to the question, but yeah, if people are putting drinks on your speakers, your speaker placement probably isn't optimal.
Yeah.
Optimum.
And there are different companies that make things that you can put. Yeah, yep. Marcus, I've got a Cricket, I think, we've got a huge overhead door, and I think I've got a Cricket here. I'm going to have to, we talked about that gate. I'm going to have to see if I can turn that on and defeat the Cricket. But the threshold. They make these little kind of cone things that can go on top of the subwoofer also, that kind of fit above that and allow you to do some different things with that. So
here's another tip though. Let's not worry. Let's pretend that what I said was either difficult or people don't care. They're going to do things their way anyway. Here's some advice that I have. You can go on Google and Google no drink sign, and all these images pop up with the cocktail with the circle and the line through, like the Ghostbusters thing. Print those things out, put them on top of your speakers. And what I found is I don't feel like it's a cool thing to do at all, to tell people they can't do things, but not give them many alternatives on what they can do. So here's a really cool thing that we've done with photo booths before, because we didn't want drinks on the prop table.
Right.
We put these signs on the prop table, no drinks. But what we did do was put a facet table next to the prop table that said in Spanish and English, drink table. Nice. So we gave them a place to put their drinks. It wasn't on the prop table. It was on this other table that we designated for that. You can use a high boy or whatever you want. It's one thing that we've done that works really well.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we've done a similar thing with a couple of things that we did. I think I've got it. I don't know. Brian, am I sounding kind of blotchy now, or how's that sound?
Sound fine.
Okay. So I think I've got the gate set, the noise gate, where hopefully the Cricket's not coming through.
Well, the Cricket is only happening when you talk.
So the gate is working.
But when you talk, it sounds like you have kind of like a Cricket voice.
I do. That's actually the real me. It's me getting younger, and me Peter Panning me.
Nice.
Okay.
Hit me.
Let's see. Jimmy had a question. How do you get an agency to book you?
Well, back when I started working with agencies, what I was doing was looking for band agencies. I didn't want to find a DJ agency because I figured, look, I don't want to compete with 50 other DJs. What I'd like to do is get involved with an agency that specializes in other kinds of entertainment. So when they got a call about a DJ, you might be the guy they thought about. That was my strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think today, most agencies are primarily doing DJ. It's just the climate of things. That's how I initially got in, though. But I think that what you want to do when you work with an agency, well, first of all, you got to find an agency that's going to take care of you and isn't going to screw you over or just send you stupid little jobs. You need to work with people who you can work with. You need to work with people who believe in what you do. But you have to be very flexible. You have to be ready to say yes a lot. If you've got people calling you, offering you work, and if you catch an agency at the right time, they're going to hire you, because maybe you'll catch them on a week where they're busy. They've got tons of systems out and they just got this call and they're going to try you out. Hey, look, we got this call for this party. It's a Thursday. It pays $500.
Sure.
Can you do it? If you want to work with this agency, you almost can't say no to this, because if you say no to them, they're going to forget about you very fast. You have to say yes. And hopefully you're saying yes to things that you're getting offered that are good things. I guess my whole philosophy has always been, when I'm working with anyone who does agency stuff, is maybe for the first 6 months to a year, I'll take one for the team. After that, and I've proven myself and I've done good work and I've sent plenty of new referrals to the agency, if they don't step up, I don't want to work with them, because I've paid my dues.
Sure.
And today it's different. I don't got to worry about that so much. I'm pretty established, or reestablished, I should say. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough. It's busy out there, as you all know. Everyone's a DJ. So, and then what I try to tell a lot of people is, because I've turned people locally onto my agency, and then for one reason or another, it doesn't work.
Right.
There's a personality conflict, or there was something that just didn't happen. And what I tried to tell them is, like, look, you're approaching this all wrong. What you do is you tell the agencies what dates you have available. So you could, and what dates you want them to book you. Let's put it that way. So let's say it's completely dead for you, February through May. Then tell them, hey, I've got all this time open between February and May. This is what I'd like you to book for me. But this other time from June to January, I am full up. Yeah. But I'm here for you from February to June. Use it as a filler when you wouldn't normally have anything else. Don't try to use it as your primary source of booking. That's my best advice. When I got really involved with the YouTube videos, my mistake was I used my agency for my prime source of booking, or my only source of booking. I wasn't even worried about it. But what I have done in the last 2 years is started booking a lot of my own stuff again. I'm happier. I'm making better money. And, those prime dates I'm filling myself. And then the agency, not getting that much anymore, because my dates are full. So they're giving me stuff here and there. I had one on Friday that was wonderful. And I had one, I think, 2 weeks before that was pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. It's a balancing act.
I don't think AudioFlow mentioned agencies are for top profile DJs. I don't think that's necessarily the case, because agencies get calls from corporate events that say, hey, I need a small karaoke for 50 people on a Thursday night. Get me something.
Right. Or they do wedding shows. Hey, we're an entertainment agency. What do you want? A band, a string quartet, a banjo player? Oh, we got DJs too. You want that? We have that. So I don't believe, there are big time band agencies or big time DJ agents. There are in entertainment agents in general that you hear about, like Brian Epstein,
Yeah.
The guy for the Beatles. But there's a lot of small time entertainment agencies out there that do a lot of things. It's not just the big time guys. Absolutely not.
For sure. Okay, let's jump to our next one. Let's see. Let's do the one. How do you, with summer and doing outdoor events, how do you handle or how do you prepare for an outdoor event when you know it's going to be hot and humid?
Drink a lot of water. What can you do? I mean, there are several things that you can do. Keep yourself in the shade. That's the kind of stuff you need to make sure happens, whether they provide the coverage tent for you or whatever, or you do it. I have a friend who brings like one of those squirrel cage drying fans. Yep. And blows fans on him to kind of keep him cool. Water's good. Bring your own water supply. Don't try to rely on the venue to do it. Make sure you have something there for yourself just in case. Water is always best. Soda, anything else, kind of heavy, whatever. Water's a really good thing to keep yourself going and alert. Dress in a way that you can function.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you don't want to show up in a 3-piece suit if it's going to be 98 and humid. It's not going to work out for you. You're going to have to wear something different for this event. For and sure. I am, especially if you're out there for hours on end, which we are. And I really think that's something that a lot of people skip. They're still wearing the full suit to an outdoor event. No one else is doing this. Stop.
Yeah, for sure.
Dress comfortably. So
I think another spot that sometimes people forget about is you still need to eat. If you stop and oh man, I don't feel like eating because it's too hot, you'll hit that and you will have problems during the event. So
see, I'm the guy who starves himself the day of the event. I don't care. I don't need to eat all the time. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of person who does 2-3 meals a day on a regular basis, have those meals, even if it's a light version of it, even if it's a granola bar or something, some kind of substance.
For sure. If you don't, you may be falling over.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking about the best way to label wires when they're doing a long run with multiple wires, and they want to make sure that A is A, B is B, C is C kind of a thing.
You can color code. I mean, back in the old days, that's what we used to do. For long snakes, we'd do color codes.
How would you do color code? How would you put tape?
Well, just, like you got a snake with 4 wires in it, and you're doing the same setup all the time. Then what you do is you color code it. So input 1 is red, input 2 is green, input 3 is blue, input 4 is orange, or whatever the case might be. Take some kind of either little stickers or little paint and dot your connectors and dot your inputs and outputs and line everything up and click, click, click. We used to color code a lot back in the old days. A lot of that stuff. Because we had these lights on a tree way back in the 80s. We're talking, folks. We had lights on a tree that dropped on a tripod, and at the bottom of the tripod there was like a quad box, like a homemade quad box that had 4 outlets, and you plugged the lights into the outlets. We color coded the plugs and the outlets, so we knew which switch did what on our little board that we had. So this is mirror ball, this is pin spot, this is police beacon, this is, the lights, the strip lights that flash around and do things. This is the strobe, whatever. You knew what everything was that way. So I don't know. That's just one suggestion I'm throwing out there.
Yeah, no, I think the color
or whatever.
We did the same thing, and the other thing I've done is I've taken because it's really difficult to write on black like XLR connections, but there are gray or metallic silver markers that will mark on those. And in the worst case scenario, we have put dots on things, basically like 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dots with liquid paper.
Sure.
Small, discreet, but it still works.
Something else you could do, and I've done it recently when I'm trying to figure out what's what. They sell like packets. You can buy them at Walmart. You can buy them at Home Depot of like 4 to 6 different colors of electrical tape. You can take that tape, just like the blue, the green, the yellow, the white, and stick it on your cable. You don't write on anything. Just kind of, tag it on the end of your cable. There you go. There's your white.
A little bit of a wrap, and you're off and running.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Some popular line dance songs. Somebody was asking about what are some line dance songs.
Are these people new?
I'm guessing so. I wonder if they're not a younger DJ who is just getting out. So let's throw. For those of you in the chat room, let's make a list of some of the songs you have seen, and we all, we're going to get the common ones. I want you guys to go to the next level of maybe some that we might have forgotten.
The weirdest one I've heard about, and this is not common. He asked for common, but the weirdest one that I heard about was in Europe. I think more like the UK. They do "Oops Upside Your Head." You know that track? And
Yeah.
for some reason, everybody gets on the ground in like a rowing position and pretends they're rowing to the song. And I don't know why, but they do. Like if you play the song, this is just what people do.
Yeah.
I don't know why. There are things that happen in Canada that are different than what happened here. There are songs that I have for line dance songs or group active songs that I've never even seen happen, but I've heard they exist and I have the songs. There's all kinds. I mean, you got the cha-cha slide, the Cupid shuffle, the wobble, the electric slide, and there's the Detroit electric slide, and then there's some biker shuffle thing that was big for a minute. There's tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Depends on where you live.
Yeah, it depends on where you live and what's going on in the northern Minnesota area. They do dances to Cotton Eye Joe. They do. They do a dance to Larger Than Life. It was actually displayed at a DJ convention years ago where they do a Taibo dance to that. BTO's
Taking care of business.
Thank you. Goodness, I was thinking it went like that fast. Taking care of business. There's this weird thing they do where they start clap, 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 and slap, 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 boom, boom, and they end up getting on the floor, clapping, and then they roll over and they kick their feet up and they get back. It's this sequence of things.
Yeah. They used to do that for Shout.
Yes.
Like the end of Shout.
Similar.
Yeah.
Yep. Similar. Apache, Brent mentioned. Yep. I've seen people.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Little
Jump
cool
on
thing.
it. So it makes a lot. Same thing.
Yep. They do a little thing with that. So,
all kinds of weird ones.
More recently, now not everyone, the kids and such still requested Watch Me. Because they're doing that one's like
Soulja Boy was one too that they were doing for a while. There was a Soulja Boy dance,
and we're going to be hitting that, as that age of crowd gets into weddings here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, you're right.
Yay! Even and when mom comes up and says, "Can you play Soulja Boy?" and what does Superman mean?
What does mean to Superman that hoe?
Yeah, Superman that.
Hey, mommy, can I Superman a hoe?
Yeah, exactly. No, Junior, you can't. You can't. Go watch your Batman cartoons more. Dumas Walker, country music, there are so many. Oh my goodness gracious. We could sit and talk about country music from the 90s. There were so many slapping leather and line dances, and I've forgotten more than I probably will ever remember again.
I'm looking at Dumbass Walker and I'm thinking to myself, isn't that what like Rick on The Walking Dead says when Dumbass Walkers?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Or oh, buddy. Let's see. You got a couple more here. Somebody was wondering about what some common pay rates would be for staff when it comes to the rates. What you take for the gig and what you pay staff. Not sure if you've had much experience with that one.
Well, I think it really depends on the degree of experience they have. If I have to talk somebody through things, they're not as valuable to me as someone who just knows what to do and does it. Mm-hmm. Like if I got a guy who I can consider a tech and a roadie, that's more valuable to me than a guy who's just a warm body. How do you do this? Where do you put this? Well, where do you want that? That to me is cheap labor.
Yeah.
But the guy who knows what he's doing, that's valuable to me. For
sure. A couple of rules of thumb when it comes to this. Depending upon who you're talking to, some people will say that half, if you've got a quality person, like what Brian was saying, they're out DJing and doing their own events, that maybe up to half of it could go towards staff. Most business people who are the multi-systems who have run a business and are thinking business first say that no more than 30% of the cost of the show should go to labor. Which, of course, when I told that to my staff back when I had a staff, they were like, what? Pay cut? No. Yeah, so it really ranges. But I think, as Brian pointed out, depending upon their quality of what they can bring to the table for you.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys who, like you can hire somebody to do construction work on your home, and they can tell you that they're $20 an hour, but then you can hire another guy who says he's $80 an hour, and you're like, whoa, that's crazy. But that guy for $80 an hour, if he can do 4 times the work, 5 times the work, and better quality work, and I guess quicker than the guy with $20 an hour can do it, it's more valuable to go with the guy for $80 an hour.
For sure.
So you just gotta wait out.
For sure. Okay, I think we've got one more question we're going to hit.
Okay.
So for those of you in the chat room right now, we need our 2 songs in which we're going to bridge from song A to song B.
Quickly, I got movies to watch.
Yeah, we've only got a few more minutes because I told the kids I'd be in at 10:15 Central Time to go because we're going to do cake and then they're going to head off to bed. So
7 minutes.
The song we're going to start with and a song we're going to go to. So somebody throw 2 songs in there that are not closely related, and we're going to do a bridge from one to the other.
In the meantime, what's our last question?
The question is, what's your policy on changing? If someone is going to change the date, they've got a deposit down, they have a contract, but they need to change date. How do you handle the retainer or deposit?
Well, the deposit and the retainer, that's what they're for. You've lost the date, and this is compensation for that. It's liquidated damages to what you have to take. That's a week you're now working. However, what I will do is if they do want a different date, I will put that money towards that date just to be cool about it. But I don't assure it. I don't assure another date. It's like no reservation can be assured. I mean, I gave you this one. This is what you get. If you decide you're going to get married on this other day or have your party on this other day and I'm busy, I can't help you. And I still keep that deposit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly the same way I would handle it. The only thing I would do is if it was a situation where they let me know and I was able to rebook the date, then I might be able to work with them a little bit more. But the chances, generally it happens a month out and there's just no way I'm going to rebook that date.
I just don't understand the point of doing a deposit if you're not going to use it for liquidated damages.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just me. I don't understand the point of doing them at all if you're not going to hold them for it. It means nothing. I mean, it's glue for the contract, but it doesn't really mean anything. So that's just my take on it.
No, I got you there. Okay, the songs. Brent has Let's Go Crazy, going from Let's Go Crazy, Prince's Let's Go Crazy to Sweet Child of Mine from Guns N' Roses.
You can do those back to back.
I was just saying the same thing.
Songs, you don't even need to bridge them.
I think that especially the end of Let's Go Crazy.
And think of the intro to Sweet Child of Mine.
That might be a great mix, actually.
I was actually just sitting here thinking that might be kind of a cool thing to do sometime. I mean, 'cause I've argued that Let's Go Crazy is a rock song.
Yep.
You know, regardless of, who we perceive Prince to be as a performer in a genre, and I think he's his own genre, it's a rock and roll tune. And you should be hearing the song on classic rock stations. It's criminal that you don't. So yeah, you could definitely do those right there back to back.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Next week, gang, we are going to be doing the DJ Expo, basically our preview of DJ Expo.
Yeah, it's coming.
There's gear that's being released and such, so we can talk a little bit about that, talk about what we're going to be doing at DJ Expo. We should have our kind of plan down of what we're going to try to do for shows and such. So next week, it'll be all DJ Expo for our first half hour, and in our second will be our question. If you have any questions you'd like us to tackle, please message those to me or put them in the chat down below after the videos are all over, and I'll try to grab those.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Don't tell Brian. This is all kind of a surprise for him until the night of. So
I'll overthink it otherwise.
He'll have a 10-page dissertation.
Let me start here on page 4.
Yes. Yeah. But, because we're older, it'll be big type, so we're good.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you very much for your time tonight, my friend. We'll be back next week. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Get a chance, give us a thumbs up if it's what you like. And, of course, questions. We'll catch you next week. Good night, everyone.